Hello there, you wonderful person. I am Gareth Mason, and we are going to play Dagon. Um, Apparently, this is in Portuguese. Oops. How do we change this? English. So this is. I thought it was a horror game. I was searching. I was in the mood for some horror. Oh, is everything okay? OBS seems to be having a really tough time. And I don't think things are... I don't know. Wait, let me take a look at something. Let me take a look. OBS seems a little bit strange. Just let me make sure everything is okay. Seems fine. Anyway, so I was searching for good 2021 horror games for free. This popped up, but on Steam itself, it doesn't class itself as a... Oh, this is 2022. Probably the latest version. On Steam itself, it didn't class itself as horror, just adventure. So what is this? Apparently this is telling the story of H.P. Lovecraft and Cthulhu, which I think is very interesting. Very, very interesting. So let's go. It was a faithful interactive adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's work focused on story and atmosphere. You will not find difficult choices, action consequences, or inventory management here, and movement is limited to progressing through locations along with the plot. Okay?
I am writing this under an appreciable mental strain, since by tonight I shall be no more.
Cool. In the game, you will encounter interactive elements. Some of them will allow you to continue your journey. Others will reveal interesting facts about the original short story, its historical background, and the author. Some of the trivia is hidden. In order to find these secrets, focus your eyes and look for Elder Sign. Okay. Can I move? Can't move. I'm guessing that progresses stuff. I can't look behind me. Okay, very nice. Does it look smooth for you?
Penniless, and at the end of my supply of the drug which alone makes life endurable, I can bear the torture no longer, and shall cast myself from this garret window into the squalid street below.
Okay, so he's a drug addict, heroin, and he wants to suicide.
Do not think from my slavery to morphine that I am a weakling or a degenerate.
What's up, Robert? Welcome to the stream, my friend. How's it going, buddy?
When you have read these hastily scrawled pages, you may guess, though never fully realize, why it is that I must have forgetfulness or death.
Morphine. He was a morphine addict. Trivia. No, it's okay. This continues. Nothing else. Writing a goodbye letter.
It was in one of the most open and least frequented parts of the broad Pacific that the packet of which I was supercargo fell a victim to the German sea raider.
So when does this take place? Lovecraft is pretty old, right? Shots? Shots fired?
The Great War was then at its very beginning, and the ocean forces of the Hun had not completely sunk to their later degradation. So that our vessel was made a legitimate prize, whilst we of her crew were treated with all the fairness and consideration due us as naval prisoners.
Cool. Boat. The Huns. Cool. If you're interested in these things, you may pause the stream to read. I'm not gonna go too much in depth. I want to try to keep a nice flow to this. Yeah. So pause the stream, read, and then unpause and increase the speed of the stream. It should make you catch up without losing anything. It's a point and click only. It's just story.
So liberal, indeed, was the discipline of our captors, that 5 days after we were taken, I managed to escape alone in a small boat with water and provisions for a good length of time.
Ooh. Okay, so we're escaping. Sorry, I think I missed something. Were we kidnapped? I don't know, but we're escaping. Alone. Into the water. Uh-oh.
When I finally found myself adrift and free, I had but little idea of my surroundings. Never a competent navigator, I could only guess vaguely by the sun and stars that I was somewhat south of the equator. Of the longitude, I knew nothing, and no island or coastline was in sight.
Oh boy. We are alone in the middle of the ocean, not knowing where we are. Let's see. I don't recognize anything here on the sky. The moon?
The weather kept fair, and for uncounted days I drifted aimlessly beneath the scorching sun, waiting either for some passing ship or to be cast on the shores of some habitable land.
Water. Well, nothing bad happened. And there's no storm yet, so that's good.
But neither ship nor land appeared, and I began to despair in my solitude upon the heaving vastness of unbroken blue. The change happened whilst I slept. Its details I shall never know, for my slumber, though troubled and dream-infested, was continuous.
A giant squid. Damn. That's kind of cool. I really like squids and octopus.
When at last I awoke, it was to discover myself half sucked into a slimy expanse of hellish black mire, which extended about me in monotonous undulations as far as I could see, and in which my boat lay grounded some distance away. Though one might well imagine that my first sensation would be of wonder at so prodigious and unexpected a transformation of scenery, I was in reality more horrified than astonished. For there was in the air, and in the rotting soil, a sinister quality which chilled me to the very core. The region was putrid with the carcasses of decaying fish, and of other, less describable things which I saw protruding from the nasty mud of the unending plain. Perhaps I should not hope to convey in mere words the unutterable hideousness that can dwell in absolute silence and barren immensity. There was nothing within hearing, and nothing in sight save a vast reach of black slime. Yet the very completeness of the stillness and the homogeneity of the landscape oppressed me with a nauseating fear. The sun was blazing down from a sky which seemed to me almost black in its cloudless cruelty, as though reflecting the inky marsh beneath my feet.
This is the origins of Dagon. Dagon? Fish head. Oh, Dagon is the name of the story. I tried reading Lovecraft. I've tried listening to Lovecraft, but it's not something that really gripped me. Even though I'm really fascinated by the idea of, you know, the Lovecraftian horror. Some tentacles.
As I crawled into the stranded boat, I realized that only one theory could explain my position. Through some unprecedented volcanic upheaval, a portion of the ocean floor must have been thrown to the surface, exposing regions for which innumerable millions of years had lain hidden under unfathomable watery depths. So great was the extent of the new land which had risen beneath me that I could not detect the faintest noise of the surging ocean, straining my ears as I might. Nor were there any seafowl to prey upon the dead things.
Crazy, man. That's crazy.
For several hours I sat thinking or brooding in the boat, which lay upon its side and afforded a slight shade as the sun moved across the heavens.
So it's not a dream. That thing there is moving.
As the day progressed, the ground lost some of its stickiness and seemed likely to dry sufficiently for traveling purposes in a short time. That night I slept but little, and the next day I made for myself a pack containing food and water, preparatory to an overland journey in search of the vanished sea and possible rescue.
It's a nice sky. Yeah. I guess we just got used to the tentacles around us, huh? It's just become our friends.
On the third morning, I found the soil dry enough to walk upon with ease. The odor of the fish was maddening, but I was too much concerned with graver things to mind so slight an evil, and set out boldly for an unknown goal.
Let's go. Let's walk. Oh, I kind of want to play Death Stranding. I think we're going to play Death Stranding after this.
All day I forged steadily westward, guided by a faraway hummock which rose higher than any other elevation on the rolling desert.
What is this? Oh, that's a whale over there. These are spider legs, it looks like. Some sort of legs.
That night I encamped, and on the following day still travelled toward the hummock, though that object seemed scarcely nearer than when I had first espied it.
To what now? What is this? The horrors of the ocean. Yeah, I am really fascinated by life at the bottom of the ocean. I think it's so cool, dude. My OBS doesn't look okay. Are we still on? Is this thing on? It looks good. Range. I'm afraid of clicking away from the game and crashing. You know, these free indie games you can't really rely. Anyway. Crazy.
by the fourth evening, I attained the base of the mound, which turned out to be much higher than it had appeared from a distance.
This is cool. I like this.
An intervening valley setting it out in sharper relief from the general surface. Too weary to ascend, I slept in the shadow of the hill. I know not why my dreams were so wild that night, but ere the waning and fantastically gibbous moon had risen far above the eastern plain.
Some difficult words here. What's up, Ryan? Welcome to the stream, my friend. How's it going, buddy? We're playing... This is mostly... not really a game, but an interactive story of H.P. Lovecraft.
I was awake in a cold perspiration, determined to sleep no more. Such visions as I had experienced were too much for me to endure again, and in the glow of the moon I saw how unwise I had been to travel by day. Without the glare of the parching sun, my journey would have cost me less energy.
I learned that with Man vs. Wild. What's his name? Bear Grylls. Yeah. The episode where he traveled on the desert, he was traveling mostly during the night and hiding away during the day. It was a good series. I enjoyed it. I remember enjoying it a lot.
Indeed, I now felt quite able to perform the ascent which had deterred me at sunset. Picking up my pack, I started for the crest of the eminence.
Let's pick up our pack and go.
I have said that the unbroken monotony of the rolling plain was a source of vague horror to me. But I think my horror was greater when I gained the summit of the mound and looked down the other side into an immeasurable pit or canyon.
Oh, shoot. Really?
Whose black recesses the moon had not yet soared high enough to illumine. I felt myself on the edge of the world,
Ooh.
peering over the rim into a fathomless chaos of eternal night.
The gods of the Olympus have abandoned me.
Through my terror ran curious reminiscences of Paradise Lost.
Paradise Lost. Hey, that's a cool book.
And of Satan's hideous climb through the unfashioned realms of darkness. As the moon climbed higher in the sky, I began to see that the slopes of the valley were not quite so perpendicular as I had imagined.
Oh boy. Are we throwing ourselves off the cliff?
Ledges and outcroppings of rock afforded fairly easy footholds for a descent.
Oh. Okay.
Whilst after a drop of only a few hundred feet, the declivity became very gradual.
Well, that's good. So we could go down.
Urged on by an impulse which I cannot definitely analyze, I scrambled with difficulty down the rocks and stood on the gentler slope beneath.
There's a structure. There's a structure there in the distance.
Gazing into the Stygian deeps, where no light had yet penetrated. All at once, my attention was captured by a vast and singular object on the opposite slope, which rose steeply about 100 yards ahead of me. An object that gleamed whitely in the newly bestowed rays of the ascending moon.
This is cool. I'm starting to enjoy this.
That it was merely a gigantic piece of stone, I soon assured myself. But a closer scrutiny filled me with sensations I cannot express.
Double clicked by mistake. Gosh darn it. Let's approach.
For despite its enormous magnitude and its position in an abyss which had yawned at the bottom of the sea since the world was young, I perceived beyond a doubt that the strange object was a well-shaped monolith, whose massive bulk had known the workmanship and perhaps the worship of living and thinking creatures. Dazed and frightened, yet not without a certain thrill of the scientist's or archaeologist's delight, I examined my surroundings more closely.
Yeah? Is that solid ground? It looks like water.
The moon, now near the zenith, shone weirdly and vividly above the towering steeps that hemmed in the chasm, and revealed the fact that a far-flung body of water flowed at the bottom, winding out of sight in both directions and almost lapping my feet as I stood on the slope. Across the chasm, the wavelets washed the base of the Cyclopean monolith, on whose surface I could now trace both inscriptions and crude sculptures.
Yeah.
The writing was in a system of hieroglyphics unknown to me and unlike anything I'd ever seen in books, consisting for the most part of conventionalized aquatic symbols such as fishes, eels, octopi, crustaceans, mollusks, whales, and the like. Several characters obviously represented marine things which are unknown to the modern world,
Oh, that's cool.
but whose decomposing forms I had observed on the ocean-risen plain.
Look at this one in the middle here.
It was the pictorial carving, however, that did most to hold me spellbound.
There's more stuff down there. What's this? Storytelling methods. Carvings, journals. Cool.
Plainly visible across the intervening water, on account of their enormous size, were an array of bas-reliefs whose subjects would have excited the envy of a Doré.
What's up, Gamer Cat? Welcome to the stream, my friend. Welcome. How's it going? Dagon. Do you know this? Have you read this? Do you like Lovecraft?
I think that these things were supposed to depict men, at least a certain sort of men, though the creatures were shown disporting like fishes in the waters of some marine grotto.
Okay. Clearly this shape over here is this monolith that I'm right here. Storytelling and fantasy things. Nice. I'm enjoying this so far.
Or paying homage at some monolithic shrine, which appeared to be under the waves as well.
Also, it's not this.
Of their faces and forms I dare not speak in detail, for the mere remembrance makes me grow faint, grotesque beyond the imagination of a Poe or a Bulwer. They were damnably human in general outline, despite webbed hands and feet, shockingly wide and flabby lips, glassy, bulging eyes, and other features less pleasant to recall. Curiously enough, they seem to have been chiseled badly out of proportion with their scenic background.
Got myself down a fantasy medieval rabbit hole. Cool. I like fantasy and medieval.
For one of the creatures was shown in the act of killing a whale, represented as but little larger than himself.
Damn, that's a big boy.
I remarked, as I say, their grotesqueness and strange size, but in a moment decided that they were merely the imaginary gods of some primitive fishing or seafaring tribe. Some tribe whose last descendant had perished eras before the first ancestor of the Piltdown or Neanderthal man was born.
Cool.
Awestruck at this unexpected glimpse into a past beyond the conception of the most daring anthropologist, I stood musing whilst the moon cast queer reflections on the silent channel before me. Then, suddenly, I saw it.
What? What did I see? Something on the water?
With only a slight churning to mark its rise to the surface, the thing slid into view above the dark waters. Polyphemus-like and loathsome, it darted like a stupendous monster of nightmares to the monolith, about which it flung its gigantic scaly arms. while it bowed its hideous head and gave vent to certain measured sounds. I think I went mad then.
Damn. What's up, Disabled? Welcome to the stream, my friend. Welcome. How's it going, buddy?
Of my frantic ascent of the slope and cliff, and of my delirious journey back to the stranded boat, I remember little.
Ran away. Let's go. Yeah, this is not actually a game. Jump scare.
I believe I sang a great deal and laughed oddly when I was unable to sing.
Yeah, you've gone mad, bro. You've gone mad. Start to sing?
I have indistinct recollections of a great storm sometime after I reached the boat. At any rate, I know that I heard pearls of thunder and other tones which nature utters only in her wildest moods.
Voice should be a little bit louder. Louder than the sound effects. Sound effects are a bit too loud compared to the voice. Thankfully there's subtitles.
When I came out of the shadows, I was in a San Francisco hospital.
Oh.
Brought thither by the captain of the American ship which had picked up my boat in mid-ocean. In my delirium, I had said much, but found that my words had been given scant attention. Of any land upheaval in the Pacific, my rescuers knew nothing. Nor did I deem it necessary to insist upon a thing which I knew they could not believe.
Wasn't it just a dream, though? Continue there. What's that? In defense of Dagon. Serious Christmas. Huh. Cool. Again, if you want to read everything, you can pause and then increase the speed of the stream later to catch up. It's kind of creepy.
Once I sought out a celebrated ethnologist and amused him with peculiar questions regarding the ancient Philistine legend of Dagon, the fish god.
Dagon. Okay, this is actually interesting. Been calm for 10 years? Whoa. What makes you say that? Is that what happened? Is that the story? I'm gonna read this because this is funny. This is interesting, not funny. Dagon, or Dagon, was a main entity of the Philistines worshipped throughout the Middle East as the ancient god of fertility and crops. In Hebrew, the word Dagon was a common noun for grain. The rulers of Akkad, Mesopotamia, chose him as a patron of saint of their war conquests. He also appeared as a judge of the dead in an Assyrian poem and an underworld prison warder in one of the Babylon texts. Cool. He's often mistakenly for a fish god due to the wrong interpretation of his name. As in Hebrew, the word dag means fish. In H.P. Lovecraft's work, Dagon is an underwater deity ruling over the deep ones, a humanoid race with fish traits that reside on the ocean. He is worshipped by a secret cult called the Historic Order of Dagon. Mermaids! That sounds terrifying. Yeah. Huh. Clock is stopped. What's going on? Oh, this.
But soon perceiving that he was hopelessly conventional, I did not press my inquiries.
Necronomicon. Necronomicon. Where have I heard this word before? You guys know what that is? Necronomicon? Oh, here we go. Okay. Never mind. The marketer. Yeah, the story all about Lovecraft. Now what? Oh. The clock. I didn't realize it could turn around. Turn around every now and then. Evil Dead movies. Bruce Capel. Mermaids. Is that the Necronomicon? That may be it, yeah. We came here for what reason? Just to see that, the scientist. Cool. Not interested. The music kind of reminds me of Tomb Raider 1996.
It is at night,
Yeah.
especially when the moon is gibbous and waning, that I see the thing.
Ooh.
I tried morphine, but the drug has given only transient surcease and has drawn me into its clutches as a hopeless slave. So now I am to end it all, having written a full account for the information or the contemptuous amusement of my fellow men.
That's where the books came from. Oh. There you go. Didn't know that. Tobacco and alcohol. Let's take some
Often
morphine.
I ask myself if it could not all have been a pure phantasm.
Phantasm. Nice.
A mere freak of fever as I lay sun-stricken and raving in the open boat after my escape from the German man of war.
Whoa.
This I ask myself, but ever does there come before me a hideously vivid vision in reply. I cannot think of the deep sea without shuddering at the nameless things that may at this very moment be crawling and floundering on its slimy bed.
The music is getting intense.
Worshipping their ancient stone idols and carving their own detestable likenesses on submarine obelisks of water-soaked granite.
Damn. We got a pretty hardcore chill now.
I dream of a day when they may rise above the billows to drag down into their reeking talons the remnants of puny, war-exhausted mankind. Of a day when the land shall sink and the dark ocean shall ascend amidst universal pandemonium.
Huh?
The end is near. I hear a noise at the door, as of some immense slippery body lumbering against it.
That's not nice. I should go open up to see who it is. Mr. Slimy Monster.
It shall not find me.
I feel like this is... Oh.
God, that hand! The window! The window!
Oh. Go! No. Shoot. That's it. That's it. Oh man. We hope you enjoyed. Immersing yourself in a little pool of cosmic horror. Yeah. Sure, that was cool, I guess. But that was short, 30 minutes. This reminds me of the of Yu-Gi-Oh. The Millennium Eye. Okay. I'm still in the mood for something more, you know, horror. But no, you go over here. GG. Yeah, I guess. What should we do now? Yeah, fine. That was cool. That was it's a free game, right? Now what?